Today, we have as our first set of guests a super awesome pair, and I'm sure you may have heard of either one of their business. So ladies before gentlemen, I am going to introduce to you Sandra Samuels. Now, she had a very innovative idea. She decided, you know what? I'm going to have a spa salon just for men. Most importantly, she's an entrepreneur and she's a CEO for 25 years, grooming to the needs of men only and catered by women only. And armed with her practical skills and certifications from UE, UTech, Faceplace, University of New Orleans, she conducts grooming courses and motivational talks for institutions like BNS, for Pulse, for UE and UTech, as well as the Office of the Prime Minister. She's well equipped, I believe, and well versed for this conversation this morning. So I want to welcome Sandra Samuels to our panel this morning. Joining her is Mitri Siaga. Now, anybody who watches the news and is familiar with the Jamaica Manufacturing Association would know this gentleman and would know that he's not just very passionate about the manufacturing sector, but he's also a business owner himself, the CEO of Jamaica Fiberglass Products. Now, if you've been into our Carlton store, you can see his handiwork firsthand. He oversaw the merger of the JMA and the JEA Association to form the JMEA, where he served as president for 4 years. And he currently runs one of the Caribbean's largest contract manufacturing furniture companies. He serves as a chairman on the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, as well as he's the deputy chairman of JAMPRO. So this, again, is another gentleman that you definitely want to keenly pay attention to. Welcome, Mitri, to our webinar this morning. Good morning, good morning. So I'm going to ask the lady to speak first. So Sandra, there are some things that I know that are really important, particularly keeping a small business afloat. So talk to us a little bit about moving your hustle to a business, savings, and also the use of social media.
Okay. So good morning. It's my pleasure to be here, and we're actually in business 25 years. Don't leave off my 5, please.
Absolutely not.
I'm an esthetician and a barber, and what that means is that I do skincare, and I'm a beautician, so I do hair, nails, face, skincare in general. Now, a lot of us are gifted with talents, but and especially Jamaicans. On my daily sojourn out there in the streets, I see several people with an excellent excellent businesses. However, they do not follow the right channels in that they start as a hustle and they continue as a hustle. A perfectly good business that could be making millions of dollars. However, they don't seek the right advice. Now, Jamaicans are naturally entrepreneurial. And so I want to use this forum to encourage the ones out there who are hustling on a daily basis to fine-tune their products and services and make them into businesses, because that's the only way they are going to grow and get assistance from the government, because there is assistance from DBJ and many other companies. So starting a business, first of all, you have to educate yourself into what is required with running a business. And then you have to have in print, not in your head, because when it's in your head, it's a dream. So you have to put pen to paper and have a plan of action as to how you're going to convert this hustle into a business. Now, as you pointed out earlier, social media plays a major part in this as well. Not only to promote your business, but also to research what is out there and available. So you know which direction to go. You don't want to go into areas that are completely saturated, or if you are going to go into an area that is completely saturated, what are you going to bring to the table that's different from the rest of those businesses? We downplay ourselves a lot because we don't seek mentors and we don't speak to the right people about how we can move forward. So these are some of the things that I want to encourage us young, strong, and I say us, I include myself in young and strong, going forward, because that's the only way Jamaica is going to grow.
So, Sandra, just tell me, say for instance now, someone who is not starting out, has a clientele, but moves from place to place because they rent a booth, so to speak.
Right.
How do they save? How do they get mentorship? What would be, if you were in that position, what would help, what advice could you give them?
Okay, well, first of all, many of us out here, we offer free advice. So find a mentor, call. If one person says no, many may say yes. So that's the first thing. Get some guidance. If not, there's always JBDC and other companies like JBDC that offers advice as well. Then you need to price your products properly, because many of us underprice our services and our products in order to get business. Now, if you offer a premium service, you have to price it accordingly. If you are in a business with AC and you're in a particular location that is expensive, namely New Kingston or other prime areas, you have to price your products and services accordingly so that you can save and you want to become stable. Now, I have moved 6 times in 25 years. That's not because I was careless, but when you are renting persons' places, you have different things that's happening, whether it's the rental going up. It would be nice to purchase, but it's very difficult to purchase. But you have to find a location that your customers are comfortable going to, safe, secure, parking, and especially clean. And so these are some of the things that you have to focus on. And with the price point, you should be able to put down something. Now,
Right.
as everything is tagged to the US dollar, sometimes it's difficult, and especially now in COVID and everything has shifted online, it's a little bit more difficult now. But the truth is, once you develop a clientele and you have that level of dedication and that level of buying from your clients, they will support you, and you maintain that level of high service, because service is what makes you a cut above the rest.
Right.
That's how we work
And
with
it's good that you should bring that up, because as I move over to Mitri, his I imagine his business is very relationship oriented, right? So Mitri, in the well,
most businesses in Jamaica, they are relationship oriented,
right.
service or product.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Mitri, I wanted you to just briefly touch on, in your case, identifying persons for business advice, building trust, whether it be with your bankers, good credit, opportunity for flexibility, that kind of whole relationship aspect that helped both yourself and Sandra pivot during the pandemic.
Kim, I find it sometimes hard to speak after strong, intelligent women because Sandra said all the right things. Um, the truth is that it is about relationships, and we've been in business for 35 years, and we have had to call on many of those relationships during this very difficult time. We have we have gone into our bankers. When we saw what was coming, we have gone into our bankers and said, listen, here's a situation that we see coming on the horizon. We've been with you for 35 years. We need some help. Um, when Sandra spoke about mentors, it's so apt because it is times like these that we need to be able to call on people who have gone through experiences, who have gone through tough times, who can guide you. It also is very helpful to read. to listen to podcasts like this. If I haven't listened to a dozen, I haven't listened to one. It gives different perspectives. You know, sometimes we can only see what what we have experienced. We can't see what others have experienced and have come to because of their life experiences. And those are the things that I've found that has helped me. And when you made the point that you see my handiwork at Carlton, I had to chuckle because the truth is I can't saw a piece of wood or drive a nail, but I have nearly 100 people that work with me that are amazing crafts people, men and women. Um, they are they are the backbone of this business, and they're the ones that should and do get the praise here because they're the ones that are doing the work. My job is, as you were saying, about building relationships, about getting people to understand that in Jamaica here, we have workers and we have masseurs and nail technicians and furniture makers that are as good or better than anybody else in the world. And this is something I say often. I am willing to put a Jamaican worker against anybody else in the world if they are equally compensated, equally trained, and given the right conditions under which to work. I'll put them against any worker in the world. Filipino, Chinese, American, you name it. I'm going to take my Jamaican workers.
And I believe that, hearing what you're saying, Sandra, and hearing what you're saying, Mitri, a lot of it has to do with the pride that we do take in our craft. But you see, right now it's very important for us to stay buoyant during a very difficult time that seems to become the new normal in how we operate, and also continue to strive and to thrive. So, I mean, what would you say? I mean, Mitri, you had brought up a very good point about flexibility. Yes, you make furniture, but give an example of the type of flexibility or taking an opportunity and making something that will work for you.
Sure. So when COVID started, many of our customers, so we do furniture for like Carlton, or we do all the KFC stores in Jamaica and throughout the Caribbean, the Pizza Huts, the TGI Fridays, the Wendy's. And when the pandemic started and came into full force, we got calls from most of our customers to say, listen, those stores that we were planning to do or that you have started to do for us, stop them. And, we said, whoa, we're halfway through, we've bought materials, we've started to build them, and we couldn't do any better. So we had a factory full of workers, we had expenses piling up. So we said, what else can we do? So we looked at all of the materials that we use, the different types of materials, the woods, the metals, the upholsteries, the acrylic. And because of relationships, we were able to speak to a private sector company that was donating some testing booths to the government. And we got them to switch from buying them in South Korea to actually buying them here. And we built 46 testing booths, COVID testing booths. So anybody that has been up to UA or been to one of the regional health centers, and you see those booths that the doctors stand in and test you through, they're built right here in Jamaica by us, by Jamaicans. So that was a paradigm shift that we had to make. We have been making ventilators that a local company, local group of youngsters have designed. So we've been doing that. We've been doing acrylic screens for the BPO sector so that they can keep employees safe. So we have had to go into a complete new line of business just like this because we've been forced to. The bills don't stop coming in, and people's families don't stop eating,
Got it.
including our own.
Yes.
So we did
Yes.
what we had.
Yes, I'm going to and so Sandra, I'm going to cut back to you as far as even your staff, because you had mentioned as well before in a previous conversation about sometimes how your staff see things that,
Right.
the suggestions that you could possibly incorporate. You want to talk about that a
Right.
little bit?
Well, certainly. Well, one of the most important things, and Mitre said it, is your staff members. I call them my family members, and whether they change out and move on, we have a culture here that I involve them in everything. I don't hide anything from them. So anything I'm going through, I make them know. And I have a discussion. I'm not dictating. I'm not a dictator. I discuss with them what is happening and I tell them straight, this is what needs to happen. No, you're either on board or you're not. So there was some separation because the thing is now it's not business as usual. Who
Definitely.
is not willing to push cannot stay. It's that simple. And you have to work with the system because what we had to do, as you can well imagine, because we're a contact business, we had to, the barbering area was what was carrying the business because we have touchy feely services like facials and massages, which took a hit immediately in March and April when people didn't know what was going on and how people were managing. But luckily, as I said, most of my customers we have had for a long time, and they know us for our level of sanitation. So there was some confidence there. That's where the relationship
So that
and the
helped to
trust comes
build.
in.
So also your own
That
practices help to reinforce
absolutely,
what the
absolutely.
confidence of your customers.
Right. And so what I had to do was to cut hours and days. So immediately, instead of, because normally I open 7 days per week, we had closed Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then open Wednesdays to Saturdays, which cut the hours because I had to make sure that I was able to manage payroll, able to manage light and all of those things. So the girls had to take a pay cut in essence, and everybody, including myself, had to take a pay cut in this pandemic.
Or is saving even something that you're able to do?
Not at this point. Before, I mean, you have to treat savings like an expense. So if you're going to say, first of all, you have to operate from a budget, right? And so you need to know what everything in your business costs. And then you do your pricing around that. Many persons make the mistake of competing based on price. I can't do that. The service that I offer and the comfort and the luxury that I offer to my clients, I could never compete on price. So you have to make sure that the customer um, does not feel cheated and knows that he's getting value for money, right? That's the first thing. So from you enter the door, you feel relaxed. You don't feel cheated. You feel as if you want to stay here and spend your money. That's number one. Two, now, when you are planning your budget, the savings have to be a line item. So that is built in your costing.
So
So you need to,
basically you
and
treat savings like you would like you're paying a bill then.
absolutely. And if you don't do that, because I have had many, many, many buck toe moments, and so you have to have that little spot that you can run to, right? I normally have a strong relationship with my credit union, and so I have survived pretty much between my bank and my credit union because as I said, I'm always putting down something. It's even $5,000 because there's always a buck toe moment. If I didn't have a little nest egg or a little kitty put down, I would not have survived COVID-19 because that first month I had to dig deep and go into that savings
Right.
to be able to pay my salaries and my GCT, because remember there's still taxes. There's still
Yes,
taxes,
of
right?
course.
That doesn't go away, and the light bill comes on time, the water bill comes on time, and you have to pay your salary.
Right. So I'm going to cut to Mitri because he wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, I just think it's important that at this time during COVID, it is critically important that whilst we have to watch the pennies, whilst we have to make sure that we cut expenses where we can, I think paramount for me is to ensure that we give great customer service. Customers that we keep now will be customers for life. Don't allow our customers to go elsewhere. Don't allow a penny here or a penny there to stop us from keeping our customers. Right now, let's look at service, service, service. Sandra said it. Let us double and triple upon it. And yes, we have to watch. No, we have to be very careful. No spending that you don't need to spend. But when it comes to service, when it comes to your customers, there is no holding back.
Well, while we're with you, let me just pose a question to you as well, Mitri, because there was a question asking about suggestions about starting a business during this time. Is that a risk? Is that even something worth pursuing? If you were someone who lost your job or was concerned about your future or recognized that you needed a second income because someone in your household no longer is working, would starting a business be something you would consider during this time?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it may be the best time to start a business, depending on what the business is. Now, I wouldn't tell you to start a business that is directly dependent on tourism, but there are other areas. There are things that are opening up. There are avenues that are opening up. For example, if somebody was starting a business now in the sanitization, cleaning and sanitization of buildings, what better time to start? This is your Christmas now. So there are many areas. What we need to do is look at where needs fall. What do people need? What are people lacking? What are the things that they are not getting that they could be getting and that they need? Price it properly, as Sandra said earlier, and most importantly, give the best service, and you will get customers for life. So the answer to the question that that person asked is absolutely no, is one of the best times to start a business if you're choosing the right business.
You know, I'm going to pose both this question to you, Sandra, because I know you want to make a comment, as well as to you, Metri. When you say price it properly, I want you to break that down a little bit, because I don't know that everybody, when they're saying price it properly, would truly understand what that may mean. So, Sandra, I'm going to give you an opportunity to give your take on it, and Mitri, you do the same, because what you bring in could also be a loss for you as well if you don't price it properly.
Right. So, pricing it properly, what we mean by that, you have to take everything into consideration. Everything from you come through the gate, your rent, your light, water. I mean, if you serve tea, coffee, everything has to be put in your budget so that you can come up with um, what you need, how many people you need to sell on a daily basis, or how many products you need to sell to meet your target market. So you can set a budget, you can set a target, you can give your staff members a target to meet to achieve what you want to achieve on a monthly basis. If you just shoot blindly and say, okay, someone is selling a banana for $20, so I'm going to sell it for 18. Yet your expenses requires that banana be sold for $22 because you are selling the banana on a nice tray or in a nice bag, and the bag costs you money, and as well as the area that you're in. So you have to put everything in the the pricing of your products
Right.
to be able to achieve your goals. Now, what I wanted to say earlier, when Michu was speaking, is that some businesses may be temporary. So it doesn't have to last forever. So sometimes you can see just take the opportunity, right? Because things are happening now. It may not be needed 2 years from now, but you can capitalize on what is happening
And
now.
it can turn
That's
into a
one thing.
business opportunity for something else in the
Ab-
future.
Absolutely, because sometimes you have that window of opportunity, and you just seize that moment because you have the factory, you have the people to work, just like how people pivoted from making dresses to making masks,
Yes.
right? You may not need masks for 5 years from now, but at least you can take the opportunity now Another thing that I wanted to say quickly, I don't want to leave this platform without saying it. Persons, everybody will be going through stuff right now. Do not hide from things like, do not hide from your bank. Be proactive in what you need to do. Things are tight everywhere. Not everyone complains. So you may look over there and say, Lord, look how she look prosperous. Me and Mitri look like we have everything going on. Nobody knows when we're up at night crunching numbers, having that discussion with the staff, asking your staff to hold strain maybe for a day or two because you can't make payroll Friday. You may have to get the weekend sales in until Monday. So do not take it for granted that you are the only one suffering. Talk, meet with your bankers, have that relationship. Don't hide. Integrity, 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 and you'll always get help.
Thank you, Sandra, because I think that as I cut to Mitri for his final comments, I think it's really important that you would have brought that up. And Mitri, you had made mention about contacts. Our whole way of interacting has changed. So there's no more cocktail parties and business mixers and all such delights. Do you have any advice, or what would you suggest? And you can also comment on what Sandra had to say as well in making a contact, or even being able to think about ways of pivoting your business for those opportunities.
And that's where social media comes in, and marketing and promoting your business online. That's where things like this come in, these webinars. That's where things like LinkedIn come in. You have got to be creative, and you have got to move with the times. I think COVID has made us move quicker than some of us would have normally done. But it proves to us that we can have meetings, we can have webinars, we can have functions like this and get the job done without actually sitting in a room together.
True.
And I wanted to go back, Kim, for a moment to what Sandra was saying. The budgeting is a critical component of any business, because that's where you can make it or break it. And I think that it is critical that everybody starts with your expenses.
Yes.
What is it that, as she said, from you walk through the front door until you close the doors at night, what are the costs to run it? Then what are all the costs buying is not a service? Add everything up. Then be conservative on your income side and be very generous on your expense side. So if your light bill normally costs you $10, put 12. Add at the very end of it, add on 10% just for good measure. Be generous on your expense side. So put more expense on your need. When you get to your revenue side, if you're going to sell the item for $10 and you feel you're going to sell 10 of them, so boy, let me put 8. Selling 8 of them. Know where your break-even point is. That is how you will end up with a surplus if things get bad that you don't expect. If it's better than you expected, great. You always want to do better than your budget say. So for any young entrepreneur or new business starting up, I think those are critical things that you can do to make sure that you are successful at the end of the day.